Kyle, can you hear me?
Man. There we go.
Oh, what?
You are currently on a
Oh,
button.
Kyle, that was us. That wasn't even you.
What's going on?
Kyle, I was listening to you doing your thing, trying to figure it out, and first of all, that was amazing, but that was actually on our end why you couldn't hear me.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Gotcha. I
I'm
was like,
here. You are
why
here.
can I not hear you?
Have you done what you were just doing before, or like, are you used to working on Zoom and navigating that with voiceover like you just did?
Yeah. Yeah. I use Zoom like 3 times a week.
Yeah, that's awesome. For me, it's always about like taking that plunge into a new app or whatever, and it always is. It's so intimidating. I mean, it took me years after the iPhone even came out to switch from a Razr flip phone to the iPhone.
Oh
And
yeah.
I had a girlfriend at the time who was going to the University of Miami, and she's like, I see a blind guy walking around campus all the time. He's putting his phone up to his ear. Listen, I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. I got to feel those buttons on a Razr phone.
Yep.
I go. We'll never need an iPhone. Next thing you know, I got the iPhone 5 and
Yep.
never looked back.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. I didn't get my first iPhone until 2014.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it took me a while to switch over, but yeah, no, especially in the like ever since so I started working remotely
Hmm.
basically in like 2017, and I
Hmm.
had to I started semi working remotely in like 2016 when I was working for the Navy, and
Yeah.
yeah, I learned how to dial in via VPN and all that
Mm.
from my work laptop, and then basically when 2018 2019 when 2019 rolled around, I started doing more and more work remotely, and then when COVID hit, everything was via Zoom, WebEx, or Google Hangouts, or
Yeah.
Skype, or any and all of these things. And so I have more. I mean, I have everything from Zoom to Microsoft Teams to Skype to you know all kinds of different meeting things
Hey,
on my computer and phone. Because everyone wants a different, everyone likes a different one. So yeah, no,
well,
I
there's nothing like a challenge to force some independence, right?
for sure. So
Hmm.
yeah, no,
Do you
it's
Were
pretty
you a
crazy.
JAWS guy, like the computer reading program?
Yeah, I used Jaws for a long time,
Hmm.
and then in 2018, I switched over to Mac. So,
Hmm.
um, so yeah,
It's a
now I'm a full-fledged Mac user. I haven't used Jaws in like 4 or 5 years.
it's amazing how expensive those JAWS CDs were, and then like the iPhone with that voiceover came out, and it was just like, oh, this also really works.
Yeah, no, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, I'm on my right now I'm on my MacBook Air, and even though the laptop was not cheap, it's came built in with voiceover, and dude, I don't know how I was paying for $1,000 a
Hey
Jaws
man,
upgrade or
the
something
price we will
ridiculous,
pay to the price we will pay to AOL Instant Message, right?
something like that.
You got to
Man,
chat it up with the ladies.
dating ourselves, man. AOL instant messaging, man. That's from like 2000 or something like that,
That
wasn't it?
that Roadrunner connection. Well, Kyle, we literally just started talking. So why don't
Yeah.
you just? I mean, who are you? First of all, tell
Who
me who
am
you
I?
are. Who are you, Kyle? Besides
uh,
a great friend from I
way
mean
back when, right?
the way we met is just a really cool story. But
Yeah, no, for sure, and I think we definitely got to tell that.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
but
You know,
yeah, no,
believe it or not, man, I was talking to Abdias yesterday on the phone for like 2 hours.
no way.
Yeah, and I was like, tomorrow morning I'm gonna be doing a video, Skype, Zoom, whatever we call these, call with Kyle. And he was just like, dude, I literally, he goes, that guy's incredible. He goes, I follow his journey. And I'm like, I know how everybody feels about Kyle. I get it. So tell me
uh,
how do you feel about Kyle?
dude, I'm just a regular Joe Blow, man. I'm just like trying to like scrape together a living and like figure my way out in life. I'm just, yeah, man. It's been one heck of a journey for sure.
Do you get annoyed? Do you get annoyed when people are like, "Oh, that guy's so amazing," when you're just trying to scrape by and figure it out? Is that
So I mean, yeah. I mean, don't we all get a little annoyed sometimes with that? But
that's
no,
why I
yeah,
ask. That's why I
yeah.
ask.
No, no, man. It's on the one hand, it's super flattering and gratifying
Right.
to know that people
Right.
see a lot of the craziness that I do, and hopefully it inspires or gives people hope that they can do.
But
Um,
you're just
you know,
doing you, so
yeah,
it's an
yeah. So
interesting.
yeah, but no, man, like me, like I'm, man, I don't know where to start, so I guess I'll just start right at the
Let's start
beginning.
back. Let's start at the top.
Yeah, why not?
When were you born?
So
Where were you born?
let's get the easy ones out of the way.
Yeah, man.
No, so yeah, I was born back in the early 90s, 91.
Yeah.
And I was diagnosed when I was 10 months old with a rare form of eye cancer called
Mm.
retinoblastoma. And my family and I went through about 5 or 6 years of various cancer treatments, traveling back and forth, from between Jacksonville, Florida and Philadelphia, where at the time the best doctors in the world for retinoblastoma
Hmm.
were located. And so yeah, we just traveled back and forth for 5 or 6 years, just doing various forms of cancer treatment, and eventually had to have my left eye removed when I was 5 and my right when I was 6. And
Mm.
so that left me totally blind. And fortunately for me, my dad got connected with um, someone in the local community whose son also happened to be totally blind, and he happened to be an adventure athlete, and
Mm.
that was Eric Weinmeier.
Yeah.
So our dads connected, and Ed Weinmeier arranged for Eric to come into town and meet me, and kind of and Eric kind of became a mentor, or yeah, I guess you would say a mentor to me, and really encouraged me to just try to uh, push the barrier and push the boundaries, and make me try to make me think differently, and think beyond what I thought was possible. So
And
yeah,
how old were you then? You were 6,
I was
or
like 7 or 8 when I met
okay.
Eric. So yeah, I think Eric and I met uh, early 1999, something like that. And
Do you remember meeting him?
oh yeah, no, I for sure remember meeting him. And yeah, I mean, I remember just sitting there and like listening to him tell me about what he did. He was like a
Yeah.
rock climber, skier, skydiver, marathon runner, like all this crazy stuff. I'm just like, man, are you? I don't believe that you're
Right.
blind. And
Right.
he's like, dude, trust me, I am. Like, I've got this German Shepherd guide dog right here next to me
Hmm.
too. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
he
so
can vouch for me.
yeah, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, no, it was awesome. And then Eric and I just stayed in touch over the years, and he just kept encouraging me, and later on in my like my mid-teens,
Hmm.
I got the opportunity to go down to South America and do some hiking on the Ancascocha Trail, which is a harder variation of the Inca Trail.
Hmm.
So I got to do that with Eric and a group of blind and sighted teenagers that he had kind of put together. And then I took kind of the lessons that I learned from that trip and that experience, and helped put together a trip to Kilimanjaro in 2007. And a lot of us from that group went and climbed Kilimanjaro, which is tallest mountain in Africa, in '07, and then just kind of took off from there. Just continuing to push the limits, and all that. And I think it was about around that time that that you and I kind of cross
Hmm.
paths, because I was, I had been a quote unquote musician. Well, at least I had uh, my dad had always wanted to be a drummer, and so but he had never. His parents never let him get a drum set or anything like that. So he kind of imprinted that onto me, and
Really?
against my mom's wishes, bought me a drum set when I was like 8 years old. And so I wound up taking, drum lessons for like 3 or 4 years. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And But then, like, man, it was like 2006 to, early 2007. Was just wanting something different, and I wanted to pick up guitar, and you know and then came across, I think it was like a vision teacher or someone came across talking tabs, and and lo and behold, and then came across you, and somehow wound up and then I somehow wound up down in Orlando at this camp that your family organized for blind kids to learn how to play music, which was pretty freaking awesome.
And you went to the camp to learn some guitar, but you were a very kick-ass drummer by that point.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know about kick-ass drummer, but
I
yeah,
mean, I remember we got lost in that jam room that day for hours. It was you,
oh
me,
man, that was
Brian, and it was like, oh, this guy can really play, and it was like, oh, let's have some fun here, because
yeah,
I mean, it was really cool. It was all my friends were like the camp counselors, which I mean, we were
yep,
just a bunch of idiots, just graduating high school. I
yep,
literally showed up at that camp so hungover, and it was like a hangover that lasted like 2 days. My dad
yep,
was so disappointed in us. He was just like, "You guys are supposed to be on your best behavior." And
yep,
we're like, "No, you got the wrong camp counselors if you wanted kids on their best behavior."
yeah,
But no, it was really. I mean, that was one of the things that Abdias and I were talking about yesterday. Abdias was uh, just a huge part in putting that whole camp together. He was
for sure.
one of the drum teacher, and it was such a big deal to him. He wanted that to keep going, like because that in person interaction of getting that the gratification of teaching somebody and seeing their face light up of just
Yep,
the joy of music, and then putting a band together and then
yep.
them on stage. It's very different than being in an office.
Oh, for sure.
Working towards something, because you're feeling the effect of it right then and there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, he was talking about the people he still is in contact with. He was talking about he was like, Kayla's married and has kids now. It was really
Oh
cool.
wow, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
it was very beautiful. Just I mean, Abdias is amazing, and
Yeah,
we're actually talking about doing like a show together, and
nice.
because I mean, he does life coaching, he does
Yep,
business coaching, and he's got a brilliant mind, and man, a way with words, really.
yep.
If I and one of the things that I touched on yesterday with him, Abdias is so talented, and so he's a Renaissance man, like
Oh
you,
yeah.
and and people who are very, I don't want to just say good at a lot of things. I would say great at a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's hard for them to take compliments. And I was really, because he's like, I've always surrounded myself with people who are better than me. And I was like, what you don't understand is you're the natural. I'm like, there's a lot of people who spend the 10,000 hours to become, the fastest guitar player, whatever it is, whatever
Yep.
they're trying to be. But I was like, you actually leave people scratching their heads of how is this guy so gifted at so many things.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so well read, and I really break it down to I've been in bands with a lot of musicians who grow up hitting pots and pans in their diapers,
Oh
and I'm
yeah.
like, that's a different thing. I started playing music after I lost my sight,
Yep.
and I was a hockey player, so I like had this like intense aggression towards just life in general, and it was like I didn't really even have rhythm. I had to develop that. But if you're in your diapers and you've got music playing because it's just in your family, and it's in your generation, you've got generations of musicians as family members, that's just a different thing.
Oh yeah.
It's knowing a language before even knowing your native language, whatever that is. And it's yeah, I really think he actually he sells himself short of the advantage point that he has. And but that's every great man.
I think we all tend to do that a little bit. We've all try to we all try to achieve some our desired level of success, and yeah, as we get more successful and as we learn more and know more, we realize how little we actually know, and we just strive to
It's a
find out more, and it's that endless quest. So
Yes,
it's
and
fun.
it's some imposter syndrome as well. Like I was like, you don't
Totally.
even realize what you're putting out into the universe. I think that's also a part of it.
Yep.
Uh, Kyle, one thing I always, whenever I read your post, your dad was a Marine, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
I mean, you're
So
always a Marine. It's not like you were.
yeah, yeah,
He's a
no,
Your dad's a
yeah,
Marine.
yeah. He's a Marine, so he
Yeah,
served 6 years in the Marine Corps, and a lot of those lessons.
that's what I was. Yeah, that's what I'm getting
Yeah,
at.
he you know, he had a good childhood, but it
Hmm.
was it was rough at times.
Yeah.
But and he kind of felt like in when he went into the Marine Corps, he was kind of a wanderer, not didn't really have a whole lot of direction,
Hmm.
and the Marine Corps gave him gave him direction and taught him how to how to essentially live an honorable, committed and courageous life. And
Yeah.
then he kind of took those lessons that he learned from the Marine Corps and applied it to his family life, and wound up wound up meeting my mom a few years into his service. And my mom comes from a very successful um, business family, and it was my dad was my mom and dad grew up on
Oh,
different
really?
sides of the
Yeah.
tracks, but it was one of those things where um, they realized that even though like you come from two different sides of the coin, uh, the lessons of the Marine Corps and the lessons of business and
Hmm.
family life and all that are actually really really similar. And so my dad took the lessons that he learned from the Marine Corps, married them with the lessons that he then learned from my mom's dad, and all of their business and all that, and wound up building a pretty awesome, successful family and life for himself. And yeah, no, it's been quite the ride and quite the journey.
But even more so than like the success with the business and everything,
Yeah.
I mean, do you often think about how much that played a role into how he was when you were going through what you went through?
Oh, for sure, man. Like, I mean, one of the one of the tenets of the Marine Corps is just tenacity, and
Right.
the one of the things is honor, commitment, and courage, and like just being you know committed to staying the
Resilient.
course, and
Yeah.
resilience, and having the courage to go out on a limb to try new and radical cancer treatments, and all that. And then even after my cancer diagnosis, and
Hmm.
after I went blind and all that, um you know those lessons from the Marine Corps. My dad and my mom were both like, we're not going to wear kid gloves with you.
No, I
We
know.
we expect we expect the same of you as we do your
Right.
sisters, if not more. So it was, so yeah, those lessons, I mean, they permeated permeated my life for sure.
Most people would crumble, and that's really the truth. Most parents crumble in those situations, and most
Hmm.
parents don't know what to do.
Hmm.
And I, I'm very into Jocko, and so I know the mascot of the Marines, Chesty Polar, I mean, that's real stuff. Those are real lessons,
Yep.
and I just know based on I watch you from afar, but I think that the strength of your father is a big part of why you are who you are.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Yeah, no, it's our parents, they're the ones um, that initially put their fingerprints on us and give us the skills and the tools, and then they as we're growing up, they try to help guide us and give us the tools to continue learning on our own. But yeah, no, I mean I carry a lot of both of my parents, especially my dad. But my I like to think that I have a little softer side of me that comes from my mom too. So you know,
Is
but
that is that an easy thing to carry, or would you say that's a just a heavy weight of responsibility at times?
um, it's at times it can be the heavy weight of responsibility.
Yeah.
Um, but I think everyone that want I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, I don't think so
Um,
either. The reason
like
why I ask is honestly because I think the lessons are so valuable,
yeah,
but still your shoes are different to walk in.
sure,
So I think it's like this fine line of knowing what works. Like the lessons your dad was giving you work, but at the same time he could see.
yep. Yeah,
So
no, I mean for sure. It's one of those things where, like I said, your our parents they give us the tools, and
yeah,
then we're
yeah,
expected to hone those tools and to develop them and even create new tools from those old from those tools that we're given.
yeah.
So yeah, no, I mean, look, man, it's no different than you hear a piece of music and that inspires you to you know learn it and then improvise over it and then spin that off and create something all of your own. So
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't know. I ask because I you always want to know what it would have been like if something was different. And it's like,
oh
oh,
yeah.
if my dad went into the Marine Corps, would he have would he have, given me those lessons without, the gloves on like you said.
Right.
And cuz I feel like my dad and I my dad was not a Marine. We were trying to figure it out together, if that makes
Sure.
sense.
Oh sure.
Um, and I'm sure everybody's like that to a degree,
Yeah.
but my dad was a very emotional person,
Oh yeah.
and he wore that on his sleeve. It was this very much so. I lost my sight when I was 11,
Hmm.
and it took about 2.5 years to. I mean, I had literally all of my vision in my other eye. I started losing my central vision in my right eye, and I had all my vision in my left eye. And then it was like traveling around from hospital to hospital, like you experienced as
Yep.
a kid. And it took about 2 years for it to actually affect my other eye. And then, I still, Kyle, do you know that I still see light and dark, or do you know what my vision is, or because
I wasn't sure
what do you
if
know?
you yeah I wasn't I actually like I knew that you're technically totally
Yeah,
blind, but you might
who
I
knows?
thought who knows, who knows, but
I'm a weird hybrid.
that's all
Um,
right, man, that's all right.
I'm just trying to figure it out. But
Aren't
no,
we all?
man, for years I had my peripheral vision, and
Yep.
that was interesting because I was like still playing on my basketball team at my school, and all I had to do was turn my head a little bit, and was like, oh, she's pretty, and but it was funny because you think it's like the worst thing ever at that point, and
Yep.
then it's there's levels to this, because the only thing I couldn't do at that point was get my driver's license,
Yep.
which so then I just kept doing treatments, and then eventually I was like, oh hey, everything's really fuzzy now, and it's an interesting thing because I'm sure you get this in places that are your comfort zone, like people are like, "Oh my God, you're so amazing." But then you put me in any other situation that's not my house or my gym.
Yep. Oh
It's like,
yeah.
oh, this guy really can't see, like Eric
Yep.
Weinmeier.
Yep. Oh yeah. No, for
um,
sure.
but it's that magic trick we try to pull off every day. So I don't know, man. I really, first of all, it was so awesome of you to hit me up a few weeks ago, and and then you had a race down in Sarasota that you won, which is awesome, man. I read that you're skiing, you're running. Is that Do you have fear when you're running? That's one thing I was curious about because running for me is like I'm I don't know. Okay, this is an interesting question because I do see certain things
Hmm.
pop out at times, like shadows.
Hmm.
I'm constantly flinching, and
Yeah. I mean,
you might not
uh,
have that.
no, I trust me. I actually, I do, and I do have a certain amount of fear, especially when I'm running
Yeah.
outside. Even though even though when I'm running outside and I'm running in races and stuff, I have a guide, who's calling out obstacles and stuff to me. But hey, guides miss stuff,
Uh huh.
and like, you know, like I still, I think a healthy dose of fear, honestly, keeps us on edge and keeps us alive and upright.
Yeah, it does.
So one of the things that my triathlon coach and I are working on is to really develop my outside running uh, even more, and learning to trust my footing, to trust my guide a little bit more. And we're working on developing my various race guides to get better at communicating, and um, to develop that level of trust between the two of us, so that
Right.
we can trust each other to go even faster. But yeah, no, I mean, it's no, dude, there's trust me, there's a healthy dose of fear there. I don't think it's you know I don't think it's possible not to have a little bit of fear, and try to run as hard as you possibly can, or to be biking at 50 kilometers an hour, or to be out there in the open water swimming, and
Right.
not knowing not really knowing what's around you, not being able to see. I mean, yeah, I mean, and I think that's one of the things that um, scares people the most about blindness, is the fear of the
Surrendering.
unknown. Well, it's the fear of the unknown,
Yeah.
and like, it's so that's we have to experience that on a daily, hourly,
Yeah.
minutely, secondly basis. And but one of the things that I've learned is, hey, I gotta embrace it and roll with it.
Hmm.
And yeah, so, but no, man, I like I said, I mean, I've loved adventure sports and adventure athletics and all that since I was 7, 8, 9 years old.
Were
And
you an
yeah.
athlete before losing your sight? Were you
I
playing
mean,
sports?
I mean, like, I was 5, 6 years old when I was 6 years old
Man,
when
I
I
was on my
went
way to being a
totally
pro
blind.
hockey
But
player. I was literally almost a pro hockey player when I was 5. So
yeah,
don't
I
sell
mean, dude,
yourself short, man.
dude, trust me, I was like, I was gonna be the next short white Michael Jordan.
Okay,
Um,
just making
don't,
sure.
don't stress. I mean, I had one eye, and I thought I was still gonna play in the NBA.
Yeah, okay, cool, cool, cool.
And that I like, and that I like, I played, like, just street and street basketball, street football, street hockey,
Hmm.
and stuff with my friends, and I was, but and all of that. But I wasn't on any organized teams or anything like that.
Kyle,
Uh,
didn't you wrestle in high school?
I did. Yeah, I wrestled in high school, and then went on and then wrestled for a year and a half at UCF,
Oh wow.
as well. So yeah, I mean, the wrestling came, that came after getting into rock climbing and hiking and skiing and all that. And it was just one of those things that um, I had always been interested in wrestling and being a part of an organized team.
Yeah.
And so my high school had a wrestling team. We were a brainiac school. So athletics was not our strong suit.
Hmm.
So it was good for me in that it was really easy to make the wrestling team.
You
um,
just smashed
but
everyone.
not really. I mean, I was a mop for the mat in my
Hmm.
first couple of seasons,
Yeah.
but just like with anything, I really wanted to improve at it. And over the course of my 4-year high school career, I worked at it. I wound up going to a lot of wrestling camps, like during the summer. Tried to learn from older wrestlers, from you know an Olympian took me under a couple of Olympians took me under their wing and taught me some stuff on the mat, and I applied that in Northeast Florida
Hmm.
high school wrestling. And by my senior year was decently good. And unfortunately got sustained an ankle injury, which kind of
Mm.
ended my run to the state championship. But
Oh,
I mean, it was awesome. And I was good enough to you know join the UCF squad, and basically be a wrestling dummy for the guys that were really good on the team. But I got into some tournaments, got to wrestle in some matches in college, and got to really experience. That was kind of the one of the things that set me on a path of high performance athletics, and showed me uh, at least a glimpse of what it would kind of take
mhm.
to get to that level. But I was by no means an elite athlete in high school and college. I was just some schmuck trying to fit in and have some fun and be fit and all
Were
that.
you,
So
were you going through like weight cuts and everything for your matches? And
I was one of the lucky ones where like I actually didn't do
you just
as
walk
much
around
weight.
shredded all the time, so you didn't have to?
No, not quite. In high school, my coaches really didn't stress weight cutting.
Hmm.
So I just wrestled at my natural weight. And then, like, for in my freshman year of high school, I was a scrawny little 155-pound kid. So I wrestled at 160 pounds. And then for sophomore through senior year, my natural weight kind of fell into this, like, I was fluctuated between 165 and 170 pounds, and the
Hmm.
that weight class was 171 pounds. So my coaches were like, "Well, there's no point in trying to squeeze you down to 160 pounds. Like,
Right.
let's just have you become as best you can at this weight." And then in college, my coaches encouraged me to get in the gym, put a little more muscle on it. So I got up to like 100 175, 177, 178 pounds. And so in college, I really only had to cut like 3 or 4 pounds at a time,
That's like
which
not
is
going out on a Friday night. You'd be fine.
yeah, which is pretty much like what we did.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think there was one point in my sophomore year where my coach was like, I think we could get you down to 165 pounds. Why don't we try it? And so, like, we worked at it for a few weeks, and I think I got all the way down to like 167 pounds. And
Hmm.
I had just a terrible like, I went in and wrestled at a home tournament that we were hosting at UCF, and I
You
just
just felt weak.
I just did terrible. And my coach was just like, "Yeah, we're not doing that." So I just wound up wrestling at my natural weight. And so I wrestled at like the 174-pound weight class in college. And but at the by like halfway through my sophomore year, injuries were piling up, and I wasn't in love with competitive wrestling
Hmm.
anymore. And I didn't want to be a drain on the team, so I stepped away and got into more group exercise instructing, spin instructing, all that, and was just more interested in like just general fitness.
You
Um,
were when you were at UCF, you were a spin instructor.
yeah, I taught spin, I taught group exercise, took some personal training classes and
Hmm.
stuff, and just tried to really tried to just become as knowledgeable as I could about
Do you
all of
love
that.
Do you love lifting weights? Is that something like is it a drag for you to get up and do, or is it something you're just like, oh, this is my comfort zone. I love this every day.
I wouldn't say that I'm a gym rat.
Okay.
I'm not the
Hmm.
um, like I love, but what I love is I love being strong. I love um, being functionally fit, and I love
Right.
pushing myself to you know to the edge. So like I to be honest, I can't remember the last time I did like preacher curls. It was probably in college.
I make
Like
that joke every single time we're doing any form of curling. We were doing
yeah,
one-legged curls the other day where you're literally
yeah,
balancing, doing a stabilizing like
yep,
lunge on one leg, and we're doing curls. I'm like, is this our form of being at a 24-hour fitness now? This is what we've gotten to,
yeah,
which is, I mean,
yeah.
it's so fun because we do like handstands and like gymnastic ring skin the cats, and
Oh
we're
yeah,
doing like all this weird stuff that's like, but at the same time, it's man, it's empowering to be able to have that kind of strength over your own body. Is
oh
really what it
yeah,
comes down to.
oh yeah. No, and like so like I love going into the gym. I strength train 3 times a week
Hmm.
with our trainer here at the training center, and and he writes out a very targeted specific program
Hmm.
for each one of us, and it's you know it's a lot of it's honestly a lot of very simple movements that you know that are focused on us performing our sport to the best of our ability. And so, like for me in triathlon, we do a lot of stuff that revolves around shoulder and hip mobility,
Hmm.
a lot of like core stabilization, a lot. We do focus on strength and power, for in certain movements, but a lot of the strength training that I did for the first couple of years living here at the training center was really just around I needed to be strong enough to not get injured,
Yeah.
and then you push beyond that to actually starting to gain strength, which then you can then and then my coaches and I work on applying that strength to swim, bike, and run. So it's very different than like you know
Right. Being a gym rat.
uh, than just going in and you know you know throwing barbells around or
when
doing box jumps just for the sake of it, or anything along those lines. So yeah,
when you
it's a
say
little different.
core, when you say core and hip, do you ever do like straddle pulses where you're literally just sitting on the ground, like using your hands, applying pressure, and just pulsing your legs? Do you ever do that?
Not really.
Hmm.
We do a lot of stuff on like we do a lot of stability ball stuff. We do a lot of like one-legged balance
Hmm.
stuff where like we'll be balancing on one leg on a on an RX pad,
Right.
and you know be
Well, how
like
is that, Kyle? Like, I mean, do you just feel like you're at a complete disadvantage? Because I'm always imagining everybody standing around me focusing on something. They're just literally visually picking out something in the room, and that's why they can balance.
yeah, I mean that's definitely part of it. So one of my teammate, I have a couple of teammates that have one leg,
Okay,
and
so they're really
um,
good at that.
they're outstanding at it. And like I was doing a one-legged balance test
Hmm.
with my teammate Melissa one
Hmm.
time, and and she's just balancing no problem, and you know it, it, she's been you know one-legged balancing for 20 years, and
Right.
she was also a gymnast as a kid, so
Hmm.
can close her eyes and still balance with the best of them. So it does, after a while, it does become a natural thing. And look, I definitely, we're definitely at a disadvantage when it comes to, being able to visually focus on something.
Mm-hmm.
But we could still, but like the big thing that my coaches have really stressed to me is like, look, don't focus on how everyone else is doing. Let's work on improving you. So I went from being able to, like, I could balance on my left leg for like a maximum of like 4 seconds at
Right.
the beginning of 2019 to where I can
Yeah.
balance on my left leg now for like 35 seconds
Which is amazing.
without
Okay.
falling. So
But
it's a process. So
is it every day though? Do you feel that there's certain days where your balance is just different?
oh yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I feel like there's some days where I can balance for 35 seconds, like you're saying, and then other days I'll be like, oh, I'm back to that 4 seconds.
oh yeah. No, all the time, all the time. Yeah, trust me, man. I mean, it's. I mean, but again, that's everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone has those days. So
Well,
yeah,
I'm
trust me, all
not.
the time, man, all the time.
I have not. I haven't been doing this as long as you. Like you said, you became an adventure athlete as a kid,
Yeah.
which which is so cool. I was an ice hockey player when I was, between the age of 5 till I lost my eyesight. I remember even like scoring my last goal while I was losing my sight, and I didn't even know the puck went in the net. Somebody came over to me like, you scored. I'm like, man, I don't even think we're friends, but thanks. And so
Love it.
but no, I became a very, very lazy piece of shit for about 10, 15 years after
Yep.
losing my sight, just playing music, drinking, whatever it was, literally until I was just in bands. I mean, that was my level of cardio was just playing a concert, drunk and rocking out.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, sweet, I'm sweaty. I burnt 10 calories. Now I can go home and eat myself to sleep.
Yep.
And so, yeah, dude, it really took me till my dad passed away of a heart attack
Mm-hmm.
when I was about 25. And
Mm-hmm.
then I was like, oh, because my dad, this is terrible, but my dad, my best friend, literally, he was my best friend. And when I say this, I mean this in the best way, but he was definitely, when he was out of shape, he would still call me a fat fuck, which
Yeah.
makes no sense at all. Like I was like, wait, what about you? Because it was like we could help each other. We could help each other get on a journey
Yeah.
and lose some weight, do whatever. But don't just point at me when, he was letting himself go. He was, got back into smoking cigarettes. He was
Mm-hmm.
drinking, jacking cokes with his I mean, it was like, my dad definitely. It was this ongoing struggle of really depression and trying to fix me.
Yeah.
Was really what it comes down to, and
Yeah.
which is tough because, if you have the tools, it's about fixing yourself
Yep.
first. You can't fix somebody else if you can't fix yourself.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, my mom, me, my sister, all we wanted was just a little bit of joy and just to be okay and for
Yep.
him to be okay. And it wasn't like this. I remember when I lost my sight, it was all that mattered was finding the cure, finding the
Yep.
cure for me. And eventually, it's like if there isn't that cure, let's just focus on what we have here.
Yep.
And what we had was a beautiful family, and unfortunately, the mind is rough. And the mind can be rough, and the demons of him not living the life that he really set out to. And he was he was, like you said, this successful. Talking about your own parents, he was very successful in his own business, and
Mm-hmm.
everything was in his grasp, really, in his control. And when I lost my sight, that was out of his control, and it really caused him to spiral. But
Yep.
still, he was literally my best friend, and we lived the most beautiful friendship I could ever imagine having with
Oh yeah.
anybody together.
Oh yeah.
But it really, when it comes to dealing with your own stuff, he never did that.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because I'm a huge believer, and you can make a change, like a drastic change, in literally just a few weeks. And like if you start saying I'm gonna start doing healthier things for my body, for my mind, and start living that life consistently. I really do believe, I mean, even if he was quote unquote dying, I really believe that he could have turned it all around in just a few weeks.
Sure.
Um, and so it's one of those things that I didn't care. I didn't care about. I didn't even care when he called me a fat fuck. I was like, I would just be in denial of it. I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm just doing the best I can do, pops.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but literally, I'm an obsessive person.
Oh
You
yeah.
could, I say obsessive. People would say addicted, but
Uh, tomato, tomato.
exactly, man, exactly. But I was on tour. Literally, I had my first tour with my band about 2 weeks after he passed away, which is a really good time to go play play music for 7 weeks over in the UK right after your dad
Yeah.
passes away when you have a obsessive personality.
Yeah. I can
So
imagine.
I I became unhealthy, way worse,
Yep.
and for probably about a year till I was like, what am I doing? Because really all that partying does and all that drinking does is just as much bad as it's doing to your body, it was really just killing my head and just making me
Yeah.
more angry, more depressed,
Yeah.
more emotional,
Yep.
and uh, and it really took till I was just literally on YouTube and just became obsessed with. I just started watching fitness YouTubers,
Yep.
and it was strange because it started there and it started with wanting to stop drinking, wanted
Hmm.
to make a change with my food habits, and it's weird to say this, but I really just didn't want to do what happened to my dad. I didn't want to have a heart attack. I became very fearful of having a heart attack
Yeah.
because he wasn't the first person in my family to have one, and
Hmm.
I was like, okay, what did this to him? It was stress. It was all these things,
Yep.
and so I became obsessed with losing weight, with working out, with eating better, and it was on tour. It's really interesting to be the one while everybody's passed out, waking up in 40-degree weather in the UK and working out in your boxers. Just you walk out into a different room in the house you're staying at, and I'm just like silently like getting to like a place where there's enough floor space to do
Yep.
push-ups and whatever, and I'm just like
Yep.
they wake up and they're hungover and they're just seeing me drenched in sweat, shivering because it's freezing cold. And dude, I really just became obsessed with addicted, upset, whatever, tomato, with the
Yeah.
struggle, with that discipline, with feeling different, with feeling a change. Yeah, I really it was new for me. I mean, I remember so many times in high school because I was lazy, drinking, whatever, and I just kept saying, "This will be the summer. This will be the summer that I
Yep.
become in shape again." Because I
Yep.
was a kid who was always athletic,
Yep.
and it's really easy to lose that.
Yeah.
But
No, dude.
I
I mean, honestly, man, you're preaching to the choir. I mean, like, I know we've we had talked a little bit about it offline before, but yeah, man, I mean, around the same time, I went through a lot of struggles, from that like 24, 20 from like 2013 to 2016, in those 3 4 years right after college, where I was not a healthy individual, and let myself go, and wound up with
what,
a lot of
what was
depression
that
and all
like?
that. So
Really,
uh,
I don't feel like I understand when I think about Kyle.
yeah.
I'm always at this. Oh, he doesn't struggle. He doesn't go through depression. He never had, because it's the image not that you put out, but that people that you always have this idea of something else from
Yeah.
afar,
Yeah.
and
No, for sure.
that's this world we live in with Facebook and Instagram, and it's this you just think everybody's doing better than you, and you build
Yeah.
this idea up in your head. I mean, if you're comfortable, tell me about those years.
Yeah, man, no, for sure. It's something that I definitely wasn't comfortable talking about
Right.
a few short years ago. But it's one of those things, like, that you pointed out. Look at the you know you learn from it, and ultimately I became better
Hmm.
for it. But so. yeah, I mean, I graduated from UCF in 2013, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was hot shit, and I was gonna be the king of the world, and I was gonna be the next, Mark Zuckerberg, or pick your young entrepreneur that was gonna make billions of dollars. And I quickly found out that um, the real world is very hard. So
Mm-hmm.
I basically started applying for every job that was listed CEO and above.
Mm-hmm.
Found out that didn't work out so well, so just started climbing my way down the corporate ladder. And eventually, I actually applied to be a bag boy at Publix,
Mm-hmm.
and didn't get that job, and that was a year after I graduated. So I had gone for a whole year, graduating from college without finding employment, and I was still trying, and I was still clinging on to this idea uh, that I was an athlete, but in reality, I was up over 200 pounds. I was drinking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the time I was engaged to be married. That relationship was slowly eroding, and like I was unpleasant to be around. I was just not a I was not a happy
Right.
person. Um, I I mean, like, any little money that I had in my bank account was, you know, I I designated that for, for booze.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I eventually landed a job, in a call center that specifically employed people that are blind or
Yep.
visually impaired, I was like, man, I've
Mm.
I've made it now, making a whole $10 an hour. And did that, and actually found a tiny bit of purpose in my life, and had some direction for a few years. Start climbing my way back out of that hole, but again, still was persisting in the bad habits of drinking. My ex, she was she was pushing me really hard. Um, she did not want me to be a call center agent, or
Mm-hmm.
she wanted me to be like a college professor or something along those lines. And I didn't want that. I didn't really know what I wanted. And eventually I found my way to triathlon, which,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, man, this is, this hurts and sucks so bad that I just want to keep doing it. And it took a solid 2 years of juggling, triathlon and my drinking habit, to realize
Right.
that, only one, I could only really have one of these.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, in it kind of all came to a head in 2016, when I would hit the bar at 11 a.m. and, um, you know drink for hours, and then get home and get on the bike trainer and try to do a workout, or go to the pool at 5:30 in the morning, swim, and then go into work, and then get off at lunchtime, or I mean, after work, immediately hit the bar and then try to do a run, or something. I eventually figured out, like, oh my gosh, like, I can't do both of these.
Mm-hmm.
Which do I love more? Do I love waking up hungover all the time, or do I love, the thrill of triathlon more? And so I loved triathlon more. And and again, I had gotten to a point where I was making okay money, nothing spectacular. Um, but and I was like, do I want to keep flushing my money down the alcohol hole?
Mm-hmm.
And I decided, no, I don't want to do that. Um, and so I decided I need to make a super drastic change, and quit my job in Orlando, picked up my life, and moved to Colorado. just I was like, I just need a completely fresh start. Um, and yeah, I just kind of started clawing my way back to trying to be trying to just be healthy.
Yeah.
Um, and surrounding myself with my family again, and then yeah, just kind of climbing out of that dark hole and that dark place that I was in. And one thing led to another, and just that pursuit of for you it was just general fitness. For me it was triathlon, just trying to get better at triathlon. Gave me focus and purpose, and my uh, turned into my career.
Right.
So yeah, no, it's pretty amazing. Like, I don't, while we can learn stuff from good times, we learn more about ourselves, and we learn a lot more in hard times, and in struggle. And like, it doesn't necessarily like, and I think we go through periods of that. Like, I mean, obviously I went through it as my, I and my family went through it as a kid,
Right.
doing cancer treatment and all that. You and your family went through it, from the time you were 11 until, throughout your teenage years,
I was
learning
just
how to,
trying to go through
you know,
puberty, man.
yeah, no, for sure. Like, all that kind of stuff. And,
Yeah.
and then like we kind of sort of think we got our lives figured out. And then, in adulthood, we realize, oh man, like I'm in control of
Hmm.
my life. And you know, I think we both kind of, I always laugh that, like, our lives took very similar, kind of
Yes.
parallel courses along similar timelines, and that we both figured out, like, oh man, we got to make a change.
We're both just
Um,
musicians who love to sweat, really, is what it comes
yeah,
down to.
at the end of the day, that's what it is.
We're just
So,
creative sweaters.
creative sweaters. Is
That's
that the name
that's
of
the
our
name of the
show?
show. Creative sweaters.
That actually might be better than the one that I was thinking of. I was thinking of like Watts Up or something like that, but I like creative sweaters.
um, that's so funny.
Oh, I love it. Oh man, crazy.
What oh, I was just gonna say something, but the creative sweaters just threw me off my game.
Oh, dude, crazy.
Yes, Kyle. Kyle, it's awesome talking to you, man. Like,
No,
it's
seriously.
it's you're an amazing person, but I think uh, I think that it's really cool having a friend, having a mentor, having just somebody that I can look from thousands of miles away and say, you know what, he's still doing it. I got to keep doing. I got to keep trying, keep grinding, keep doing it all. Because for me, the thing that can be tough is, I mean, what you're talking about resonates so much because it's all about the anxiety in the head,
Yep.
and it's all about just telling yourself, you are still doing a good job. You
Yep.
are still making your loved ones happy, being the best for the people around you, and that to me is so important because, like you said, when you've struggled, it's really hard. I mean, it's hard when you're not good. It's hard when you're not on,
Yeah.
because there's so many people who have been in your camp for a long time who have unconditional love for you and want you to be okay. I think is really a big part of it, and I think it's the reality of the situation we're in.
Yeah.
Because it is unique. Like you said, every minute, every hour, every second, it's a fight. I'll call it a fight, and
Sure.
it's a fight that I like to be in the fight. I mean, I asked you about wrestling because I'm a huge UFC fan.
Yeah.
It's one of the only things that I have outside of music, cooking. Well, man, I have so many hobbies and passions.
Dude,
But
that's a good thing.
no, I know, but the UFC is like my it's like my Saturday religion, if you will. Like I don't even
Totally.
touch my phone for like 8 hours. It's just like once they
Wow.
start, from the time that they start to the last fight, yeah, I'm in my zone.
That's
But
awesome.
because I love it, man. I love that one-on-one combat of somebody. For it's them having the strength over themselves, their mind, and seeing how far they can take it. And I think that's the life that you and I live. And I know that there's millions of people who live similar situations, but
Yep.
I think that we have a very unique one. And I'm first of all, I'm just thrilled that we're talking. I'm thrilled that we're
Yeah.
doing this, and I think it's really cool. I've since the moment we got this thing started today, I've
Yep.
had really nothing but a great time, man.
Yeah,
I,
man. No, for sure. It's like I mean, dude, you know, I guess we just got on a roll talking and chatting so much that like we kind of forgot to tell people like this ain't a one time conversation between us, man. Like we're
unless we said it all, unless we've said it all.
I don't think we've said it, and that's the thing. I think
No,
we've still got so much to say, and we've like this like we I think we you know
I know exactly.
we're kind of figuring this out as we go along, but we're planning on doing some cool stuff here at least over the next few months and years together. So uh,
Kyle, I know exactly what I was going to ask you when I came up with the creative sweater. It just
oh
came
yeah,
back to
yeah.
me.
Sorry, go for it. Yeah.
Do you ever still have drinks, or is that just a part of the past now?
I do. I do occasionally have a beverage or two, but I usually cut myself off at like one or two.
What do you like?
Dude, I love
I bet you like.
shoot,
I bet you like whiskey.
I do
You
like
seem,
whiskey. I do
you
like
seem like a
whiskey.
guy who likes a nice glass of whiskey.
I love a good scotch, man. I love a good scotch. But no, I do love scotch. I love whiskey. I love bourbon. I love craft brew.
There you go.
So yeah,
How
no,
could you not being in
my
Colorado?
yeah, my go. I mean, by classic, you know, classic. I always go for my go-to beer is any house IPA. Um, but yeah, no, I've really in the last few years I've gotten into really enjoying good whiskey
Hmm.
or spirits like that. I have actually a guy that guided me for an Ironman back in 2018. He's from Scotland and taught me how to drink Scotch and whiskey and under his tutelage.
Yeah.
It was man, it's really amazing once you learn to drink and appreciate the good stuff. Man, I'm like, man, how did I ever drink like that crap back in college that I used to mix drinks with? Like,
How did I do 1,000 Jaeger bombs on tour?
oh gosh, it's insane. It's
Yeah.
insane, man. Trust me. No, yeah, I totally hear you. But yeah, but one of the things is living at the Olympic and Paralympic Training Center. We're actually not allowed to have alcohol on campus.
Okay.
So that does help with the um with you know curbing the temptation. But
Hmm.
like after like there's nothing like just having a sharing a good cocktail or a good drink with
Yeah.
your friends and your teammates and stuff. So yeah, I mean I've learned to um, enjoy my my alcohol and enjoy my food rather than binge on it like or use it as a medication
It's
like I
interesting that you
used
say
to.
food too, because I understand that so much so. Like for me,
Yeah,
it all comes down to escapism. Like I
yeah,
can escape with a with 10 pints of ice cream the same way I can with
hundred
alcohol or
percent,
whatever. So
hundred
I
percent.
under yeah, it's and I'm a binger. Like it
Yep.
is. Next thing you know, we're sitting just at 3 in the morning. I'm like, wait, what? That was 10,000 calories? Oh
Yep.
no.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
No,
I've been there,
it's
man. I've been there
moderation,
where.
man. It's moderation.
Yeah, I don't know that word, Kyle.
Trust me, I have a hard time with it too. Whether that be exercise, food, anything like even I'll even binge on pick up my guitar and before you know it, I look up and 6 hours have passed and my fingers are bleeding and I'm like, oh.
Do you because a lot of
You
people
know?
binge TV shows. Do
Yeah.
you even find your do you watch shows? Do you watch I
Not
mean,
really. I'm not really into TV shows.
yeah.
I love reading. I love books, but but yeah,
Kyle,
I'm
do you read Braille?
I do. Yeah, I
Yeah.
read Braille. I've got a refreshable Braille display and a note taker that I can, and then I have I do have an old school Brailler that I'll occasionally like write out like some notes and stuff on.
Man,
But for the most part, I when I read books and stuff, I primarily read audiobooks. I like listening to books and listening
for
to people
sure.
read them to me.
I can't read Braille. I did know how to use a Braille typewriter when I was young, but my fingers were so calloused because of guitar. I just literally couldn't feel anything.
Yeah, that'll
And
happen.
and man, I'm jealous of that. There is definitely this feeling of like it would be cool to just be able to put my hands on a book and fly through it.
Yeah,
Um,
it is pretty cool. I mean, I mean to me, like I learned Braille when I was, you know, I
right.
learned it as I was learning to read
Yeah,
in print. So like to me,
yeah. Like
it's reading. So
imagine me going back and learning Braille at 31 years old. Like it's
it's doable, but it's not. You know, like I said, it's doable,
But
but
Kyle, I just told
you
you how many
can.
passions I have. Do you think I'm gonna
I know.
find that time?
If it matters to you, you will find
Ah, yeah, you're right. I guess then the answer is it doesn't matter to me. It's really what.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
no, it's one of those things I would love to be able to do it, but I'm not gonna put the time in at this point in my
Yeah,
life.
at this, I mean, and look, there might be a time, you know, when you're 45 or 50 that it becomes more important to you. You know, it might
Yeah.
become more important to you tomorrow. Who knows? But like when the time comes, you definitely got to put that work in. So,
I'm curious, man, because you said the where you live at the training center they don't allow alcohol, but Colorado is legal with weed. Do they are they how are they about that?
um, so we're not allowed, like we're not allowed, like, you know, because we're a high performance athletic facility.
You get
Um,
tested.
yeah, so you know you know we have anti-doping codes and agencies and stuff that, you know, test for all types of, you know, all types of drugs, and whether that be recreational, therapeutic, anything along those lines. So we have to be extremely careful and cautious about what we're putting into our bodies. So we even are very careful about like the supplements that
Yeah,
we
because I mean
use,
you could take
like
creatine and pop for steroids. It's crazy.
yeah. So we're extremely cautious about all that. So are there athletes that use weed? Oh yeah, there are plenty of them. But you know, I personally don't. I did at one point in my, you know, in my youth. But yeah, that those times are far behind me, and I'm just like, you know, I'm more focused um you know, just putting the best stuff into my body that I possibly can, with the exception of an occasional beer, whiskey, or ice cream, or cookie.
What's your go-to like healthy day of food?
It's actually really pretty simple. Like my day is my meals are pretty simple. Like this morning, I had probably about 4 or 5 ounces of scrambled eggs, a piece of turkey sausage, and a piece of like whole grain toast.
Hmm.
For lunch, I'll probably have some type of grilled chicken or fish with like a mixed green salad with some like cucumbers and carrots and spinach and just various mixed greens. And then for dinner, it's usually something similar. You know, some type of, you know, about 5 or 6 ounces of, you know, lean protein, some type of um, non-starchy vegetable, and you know, some type of complex carbohydrate. So it's pretty simple. I've got it pretty well dialed. my dietitian and I, really worked hard to optimize my diet, and then I spread it, and then I sprinkle in some snacks throughout the day, like some type of trail mix, or like a fig bars, or something like that, to have something sweet and savory, and also to keep my hunger cravings down as well. So, but yeah, it's pretty it's pretty boring
Yeah.
actually.
Well, that's my next question. Have you gone through all of the fad diets? Like, have you been somebody who is into that kind of thing? Like, whether it's intermittent fasting, like trying like no carb, carnivore, whatever. Because there's so many. That's such an industry in itself.
Yeah,
Or are you just
I
consistently boring?
my I at one point in my life I definitely tried a handful of the quote
Hmm.
unquote fads.
Yeah.
Um, but like in my opinion, none of them are sustainable.
Right.
So like I for a couple of weeks I tried being a vegan, and then I realized that I loved meat way too
Hmm.
much.
Hmm.
Um, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should just do paleo.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, this ain't working because I don't have any energy, because I need the energy from carbohydrates. And there was a point in my life where I didn't like vegetables,
Hmm.
and so I had to learn how to like vegetables. There was a point in my life when I didn't like seafood, so I had to learn to like seafood, and
Yeah.
all that. So I tried these various things, and then eventually just kind of figured out that, oh man, like, and then I also looked at a lot of the scientific literature and stuff, and realized that, look, the best performing athletes, because that's what I'm trying to be, racing
Right.
at the Paralympic level, is those athletes follow a fairly regimented,
Yes.
boring um, nutrition plan, that at the end of the day usually wine comes out to somewhere in the range of about 50% of their calories come from carbohydrates, about 30% come from proteins, or 25%, 25 to 30% come from protein, 25 to 30% come from fat, um, or 10 to 20% come from fat. I can't remember the exact numbers, but
Right.
it's a very balanced. It's very balanced.
It is. It's a
And
if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of way about it.
Yeah, I mean, and there's certainly, we can manipulate, like I manipulate my nutrition and my diet throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the times of the year,
Mhm.
for optimal performance and nutrition. Like, if when I want to when I want to slim down for a race, I shift carbohydrate intake to the morning, and higher protein at night, and then stuff along those lines. But it's there's a lot, there's a lot of there's a lot of beliefs and a lot of philosophies out there, and
Right.
at the end of the day, we got to find what works best for each of us. I know people that do great on Whole30 or
Yeah.
paleo, or you know
Mm.
I don't know as many people that do as well on, um what's the big one that's
Keto.
been, yeah, that one.
Hmm. I've been
Because
the
I
guinea pig of all of them at one point. Like literally
yeah,
after my dad passed away, I was like, I'm gonna try everything until something sticks.
yeah,
And I mean, I did the one meal a day, and there was a time where I was doing one meal a day that was like, I'd be lucky if this was even 1,000 calories. And I,
yeah, dude,
I became so small. Like everybody in my family was like, you need to, you need to eat something. And
yeah,
it was funny because I was like 220 pounds like before that, and like just really out of shape. Like I wouldn't. This is the easiest way to describe it is I wouldn't take my shirt off at a pool. Like that's I just never even felt good about myself in
yep,
that
yep,
sense. But once you as as an obsessive person, once you get all in on something, it's off to the races.
for sure.
And I tried it all.
Oh yeah,
I was literally strictly last year carnivore. Like I only ate animal products for 3 4 months.
Wow.
And this was, or it was like a year and a half, 2 years ago. It was right when COVID happened, and my mom started doing these theme night dinners on Saturday nights.
Oh wow.
And I was bringing eggs and bacon, and I would take whatever protein she would have, and I just mix it in with that, because I was so disciplined to it. There was never anything. I was never changing from what I was doing. And I was
Yeah.
like, nope, this is the way. This and she was making these incredible dinners,
Oh.
and like ridiculous, like, and with homemade desserts and everything. And I was like, nope, nope, not for me. And one night I was like, maybe I'll just do it on Saturday nights. Like I'll eat what my mom's making on a Saturday, and then every other day I'll just keep doing my carnivore thing.
Yep.
And it was like an Italian night where she made like a delicious. She called it like the best vanilla cake ever. Was like
Woo.
the name of the recipe.
Nice.
And yeah, the rest is history. I was like, okay, carbs. And the thing is,
It,
man, if you work out the way that you and I are probably working out every single day, it's hard to lose it. It's because I mean, my workout on Friday was about 2 hours long,
yeah.
and it's just about getting through it.
Yep.
Because I mean, who knows how many calories are you burning in 2 hours of intense, cardio, weightlifting. I really, you can go off of an Apple Watch that says 1,000, but it's about how many it's burning throughout the rest of the day. Because that Apple Watch isn't counting counting when I'm sleeping. I'm also not even wearing an Apple Watch. I'm going off of David. He wears one at the gym, and he's like, "You just burn 1,000 calories," and I was like, "Bullshit, dude. That was like 4,000."
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I never know how many
Oh,
calories or whatever I
exactly.
burn.
You know that you're in good shape. You know that
Yep.
when you eat ice cream, you're not going to wake up the next day out of shape because you're somebody who's you live this life.
Yep. Nah,
That's
dude,
what
like, yeah. Nah, dude, I mean, yesterday after skiing, I had a big old fried chicken sandwich and I enjoyed every bite of it.
well,
So,
that
you
man, that's
know.
what it comes, and as you should. And my lady right now, she's just recently she's gotten super into the gym, and all these people are asking her that she's been that have been in her life for so long. What do you do? Like what do you eat? Like you've got to. And she's like, I really don't watch what I eat. I'm just in the gym. Like that's like she's like, I eat what Jared makes. That's I eat his dinners, and my dinners are pastas with cheese, and they're heavy meals. So
Yep.
what it comes down to is putting the work in.
Yep. It just it I mean, that's life. If you want to be successful in fitness, you got to put the work in. If you want to be successful in music, you got to put the work in. You want to be, you know, do be a successful computer coder. That's
Yeah.
what you gotta put the work in. Whatever it may be, it all comes down to you get out what you put in. So
Kyle, who do you know that's obsessed with the gym who isn't just a major foodie though? Like I think everybody who I work out with is like this basically this in shape person with body dysmorphia, and they're just obsessed with food, and they're just basically trying to beat that out of their head because they're like, oh well, if I didn't do this, I'd be at IHOP eating unlimited pancakes.
um
I think that's like all of us.
there's definitely like I know a handful of people. Like I know I can think of uh one of my teammates. She went to the Rio Paralympics for triathlon. She's one of those rare people that's just like the only reason I eat is because I know I need the calories.
It's so
uh
rare. That's such a
but
rare
it is
person.
that's about the only person that I can think of. Yeah, but for the yeah, I mean, like a couple of my teammates that live here at the training center with me, like we have a food club.
Mhm.
Like we get
As you
together
should.
every couple of weeks, and like we do family style meals where we'll parcel out food or something. Like we just all went in on like bought donated a bunch of money to win a very a sampler pie from our favorite pie truck.
Nice.
Like, you know, it's just like, I mean, I mean, food, dude, food's amazing. I mean,
It,
food's awesome. Like, we should love it, enjoy it. And we should also love, you know, pump and iron and,
yes.
all that too.
Yes.
So,
Dude, when I first started attempting to lose weight the first time when I was on tour in the UK, I was going to a pub with my band, and we were literally meeting a guy who was trying to manage us. And we were really excited to meet this guy. And everybody in the band was ordering beers. I was on such a program. I had a pack of chicken and raw broccoli in my jacket pocket.
you're
And
not the first and you're not the last.
no, it was. I mean, I was sitting next to this guy meeting him, and I was like, "Well, if you don't like this level of discipline from a guy in a band,"
Yep.
like it was hilarious because, and man, I have been on tour around America, the best, the cities with the best food in the world. Philly with the Philly cheesesteaks, New York pizza, Chicago. I mean,
Yep.
I'm telling you, I did an entire tour once, which is so funny at this stage in my life because I know the importance of flavor and food and
Yep.
that give and take balance. But I literally did an entire tour around the country where my band was going into the best places in the world, and I'd wake up, we'd go to the grocery store, I'd get my rotisserie chicken, my avocado, my apple, my raw green beans, and that was my day. And I
Yep.
did that for months. And it's so funny because then you get off tour and I'm like, oh, wait, I could have done that different. I could have literally,
Yep.
because I was still working out every morning in the gym at the hotel. And it's like, I could have just eaten two slices of pizza, but it's just such, you got to figure it out for yourself. But
It takes time. That's
it
for
does
sure.
take time, man. But, I've deprived myself of some good eats.
Trust me, we all have, man. We all
Mm,
have. I was super disciplined last year in Yokohama, Japan. I was like, I am not gonna drink alcohol until, until after the Paralympic Games.
mhm.
And like we're in Yokohama, Japan, and I get my first major international win, and the hotel that we were staying in, they gave every person that won their race a bottle of sake. And
Nice.
I was so disciplined that I gave my bottle of sake to the team to enjoy. And I'm like, man, I should have actually, it's like,
Yeah. No.
looking back on it, it's like, man, I should have enjoyed that sake. but,
Yeah.
but it was, I enjoyed myself just watching my teammates enjoy it and laughing and having fun. And we wound up ordering like $500 worth of sushi. So it was worth it.
Yeah, it's for me. It's that I've done tours where I haven't had any drinks for the entire tour, and I've only eaten rotisserie chickens and
Yep.
raw broccoli or whatever. And then I've had other tours where I'm just eating kebabs. Like I mean,
Totally.
Subway footlong every single morning. Uh,
Totally.
I mean, a bottle of Jack, a bottle of whatever, and breaking my hand on a wall. Like
Yeah.
I've done, but you know what would be so nice, Kyle, is a tour where I enjoy myself.
Yeah.
That would and I mean that in the way of I can have a little bit, I can have this, I can
Yep.
making your choices
Yep.
and just knowing that you're in control of them.
Yep.
That would be ideal. That's the
Yeah.
place that's where I live now every
Yep.
single day.
Yep.
But I've never gotten that opportunity to be on the road. And honestly, man, I don't know if that's even in my cards because it's like that wild life. It almost like it calls for this like, okay, I have to be this way or I have to be this way. Where things seem a little bit more in my accessible. Where it's I wake up, I go to the gym, I come back, I make music,
Yep.
I talk to you, and man, life on tour is tough because you're going into a different hotel room every single night, and it's like
Yeah.
I don't even know where my stuff is.
Yep.
So it's easier when you don't know where your stuff is if you're blacked out drunk. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Been there before too.
It's like no,
Yeah.
I don't care where my shoes are.
Shoes? I have those.
I have feet.
Oh
Oh man.
man. Oh, crazy. Man,
Well,
no. Oh my gosh, man. Oh man, we got
let's
so
do a lot
many
of this, man. Let's.
like, we got so many more stories to tell. It's
Yeah.
so much more
Let's.
stuff to tell people about and all that.
Can't
But
blow the load too early, you know.
yeah, no way, no how. But yeah, man, but yeah, hey, people out there, we're like, you know, Jared and I, like we said, we've been buddies for shoot, 15 years now. And, we finally just, we finally putting our heads together and like we're just like, man, like let's actually do something and let people into our crazy, ridiculous, creative, sweating minds.
Join forces.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing here, and we just we hope you guys are entertained, and we're gonna be doing this probably a couple times a month, I'm guessing, at the at least start, and who knows, there might be we've spitballed about some musical collaborations at
Yes.
times as well, so we might be letting you guys in on some of that as well. So, but yeah, no, we're super. I know I'm super pumped, and I know you're super pumped too, Jared,
I'm super
for what we're
pumped,
starting.
and thank you to anybody who listened to this. And really, I hope you enjoyed the conversation because I know that I did.
Same here, bro. Same here.
Thank you. Thanks, Kyle. Seriously, have a great rest of your day, man. And
Nah, man, same to you. And yeah, we'll chat again shortly.
let's do it. Thanks, man.
Awesome. Anytime.